Welcome to this new video. This one will be a little different, I think. I'm really just going to talk a bunch, and in the background you'll see me do an acrylic painting that I've done over the last couple of weeks here, and that one's just been super fun, and I wanted to share the progress and process with you, but also, you know, reflect on some thoughts that I've had and some things that I've been through. So here we go, straight into it, and yeah, enjoy. After having done a little too much work and then going on vacation in November, I sort of never really gotten back into art and into doing things the way I thought I would. Going away for a couple of weeks is always such a disruption. You know, you go outside, you leave your comfort zone, you do other things, think other thoughts, meet new people, and after all of that, coming back into your life basically that you had before, things just for me never really work out the same way because the experiences you have change you so much. So yeah, life happened and I felt changed by the experiences I had, and art didn't really feel the same anymore. Like sitting down and drawing, I felt like something was missing. It was not me anymore, or the things I did weren't really, I wasn't into them anymore. I was bored of continuing on in the way I did before going away, because I've changed a little bit at least. So art felt forced again, and it felt like it was not me. And I wanted to be as honest and as true to myself as possible in my art, and so there was that conflict that happened, and it just didn't feel that great. The thing I needed to figure out was, who was I now? Before going away on the trip, I had the feeling of, okay, this is me. I had like a song, I had like something where it felt like, okay, I have a grip on who I am and what I'm doing here. And now that I've gone away and come back, I've sort of lost that connection, or whatever it is, really. I couldn't really put my finger on it, like trying to describe it, trying to think like, what was it that I actually had? But I really had a deep feeling of, okay, I've lost something, how do I get it back? And my approach to that was, well, I've probably changed a little bit through all the experiences I had, so I just need to figure out who I am right now and what I want out of art. Because the things that I thought I wanted, like continuing to draw and doing the things the way I thought I'd done them in the past, just didn't work anymore with me. Everything that I had created back in the past felt genuine, it felt honest, it felt like it came from somewhere within me. And now I felt like I had lost that. Now I was just chasing that feeling again, or chasing something, some art that looked like the art I did before, but it didn't feel like it. And so, yeah, there was a big feeling of like, okay, what happened? Like, I've lost it, or I've lost myself somehow, and now I need to find myself again. And so there were some big questions to be answered here, for sure. So what I really enjoy about art, that it's sort of a tool to be yourself, but also a tool to find yourself and like explore yourself, explore life, explore creativity, and through all of that you learn a lot about yourself, you learn a lot about life if you want to. And it's really something that fascinates me about art, and I think where I personally derive a lot of my drive from. It's like, okay, go into that mind space, spend time there, see what thoughts come up, see what questions pop up, see what answers I can find. But on the flip side of that, like sort of the negative that comes with that is that art is always pretty intense. Like it can be a lot, like going into that space and really working on myself, really, or trying to figure things out all the time. I'm not just relaxing when I'm doing this, or sort of fleeing from anything. No, I'm really sitting down and confronting topics within myself and exploring ideas that I have, and maybe doing like thought experiments and testing things out. It's really hard to describe, but yeah, that's, I think, what really fascinates me about art. But like I said, seeing art in this way and connecting with my emotions as well, and it kind of feels like I'm constantly re-evaluating who I am, and I'm constantly doubting myself and then finding myself again. Yeah, art forces me to re-evaluate the things I'm doing constantly and re-evaluating myself constantly, and that can be a lot. But it's also super interesting, and it's also where I think the growth happens, and why I keep doing art. And so that mindset, or that angle on art, really helps me to get going, and I think it's something I needed to do here after my vacation, after going away, after like breaking away from art and seeing like, okay, well, it doesn't work anymore. The thing that I had is sort of lost. I've changed a little bit, and then going into that and really trying to figure out what changed, how am I different, what do I want out of art, where do I want my art to go, where do I even want to have an art style, am I, like, all these questions popping up, and trying to figure out if any of these are legit questions, and if I should go into that direction, like where do I want to be, where do I want to go, because when you sit in front of a blank page, you can take it anywhere, you can do anything, and really trying to be myself and expressing myself and seeing where I can go, really helped me a lot. And yeah, it's just such an interesting process. Art is so crazy in that way. I feel like it's it's one of the most amazing things I think I've ever experienced. Yeah. But yeah, the question here basically was like, how do I find myself again? And I've maybe already hinted at that, but how can I manage to make art again and do it well, and without being in that constant decision paralysis, really, because there's so many ways to go. Always, you can always change, and even like after a little bit of a break, even more so, because you've broken out of something that you've been doing for a while, and then okay, let's take a step back, and let's look at the things I've done, and do I want to continue in this way, or do I want to go off in another way? And sometimes I'm having thoughts like this with every new piece I do, but with everything in October and all the art I've done, it was just so much that those things didn't really pop up. But now, after like having a break from that and coming back, it was all there. So all these questions that I needed to figure out. So the very interesting thing for me is when all these questions pop up, like maybe I've mentioned them already a little bit, but yeah, where do I want my art to go? How do I want to make my art? Which mediums do I want to use? Is there an audience I want to, do this for? No, I want to do this for me. Okay. One question answered. Is there any recurring theme that I want? Are there symbols that I want to have reoccur in the art? What do these symbols mean to me? How often do I want to do art? Do I want to have a schedule? Do I want to have a structure? Do I want to have, what sort of topics? Do I want to do this, all these questions? And none of these questions have apparent answers. And I can't really sit down and just think real hard, like, okay, what kind of art do I want to do? It doesn't work that way. And nor can I ignore them. I can't ignore them. These are big questions. These are questions that are in my head constantly, and I need somehow, at some point, need to figure that out. So what's really interesting with art is that I can just sit down, do art, and think about these questions as I do the art. And then something appears on the page that might answer these questions, or something pops into my head that answers a question. So art is basically the way for me to find answers to those questions that I cannot just think on, but I cannot not think on as well. So they're always there, but I cannot find the answers. And usually it takes a lot of time. I mean, depending on the question. But yeah, questions like, do I want to use traditional medium or digital medium, or maybe blend the two together? That's not a question I can just answer. That's something I need to figure out by doing it. Do digital art, do traditional art, do a mixed media, try all these things out and see which ones you like the best, or see if you can, depending on your mood, maybe you can go for the one thing, and then the next week you feel like creating something, you want to go for that other thing. But now you have to try it all out. That's at least my opinion, to make that decision or answer that question properly. Because for me, all of this stuff is so interesting. I cannot just say, I'm just going to do this one thing. That never really worked for me. My art has been all over the place, really. And again, staying true to yourself and not really, trying to hold yourself back is, I think, a big part of what a lot of people do, and what I did for a really long time, where I just said, okay, I'm just going to do digital art, and want to be good at that, and want to find jobs in that field, etc. And now breaking away from that has really opened up just so many things in art that I want to do and that I feel passionate about, and that just feels great. But yeah, there's so little time to do all the things I want to do. I'm so, like I said, so interested in all these things, and it's crazy how bogged down I can get by all these questions and by everything that's going on in life, really, too. And it just can be a lot. And what always brings me back is sort of following the things I'm just super interested in and not completely stopping. Like, it's okay to just refocus and do something else for a while. I just did something. I just started to do something. And by starting to do something and getting in touch with those questions and getting into a little bit out of my head as well, because when you don't create art but you have all these questions and fears and doubts creep in, it's sometimes really good just to pick up something and do some art. And you might even surprise yourself with how it turns out, because at those points in time you might not have many expectations, and when your expectations are low, you usually surprise yourself with a really cool piece, maybe. Just maybe, I don't know. It happens for me sometimes. It's art. It like whatever happens. But yeah. And so yeah, I just started to do this piece, and that was really cool, seeing like how that came together and how seamless and effortless all of the sudden the process was, even though I hadn't figured many of these questions out that I've talked about. But yeah, I think it's very important not to force yourself to do something. If you're not interested, if you don't have energy, if you don't have the motivation, art is not like weightlifting or like anything that you just have to do. You can basically evolve your art and get better by not doing anything that's closely resembling like practicing art with pen on paper. I feel like I had like a 2-year break from art completely, where I didn't touch any of my pencil, pens, Wacom styluses, nothing like that. And I came back, and everything was still there. I didn't really lose anything by not doing art. And B, I was more creative. I was more connected with myself, and I had like a different angle on it all of a sudden, where I could just leverage different things, and the art became more interesting all of a sudden. Yeah, and I think also some things had the possibility of settling down, so that's also really cool. So even if you don't do art for a month, don't beat yourself up over it. Like there's no use in doing that, which is very, very nice actually. It's a very comforting thought that you don't have to be doing art every day, you don't have to be doing art every week or even every month. Go do what interests you, go have a good life, you know, and then come back as soon as you feel that need or that drive to create again. But this process should not be forced, in my opinion. For me, it's always been helpful to take a step back, do other things that interest me. I have a shit ton of hobbies. So that's, yeah, it's easy to do for me. But I always come back to it for some reason or another. And yeah, I hopefully always will. So yeah, this is the process really. This is the secret sauce. This is the way I do things, is I think going for things that interest me and not really sticking to one thing. Yeah, this is how I find my answers. This is why I'm switching art styles. This is why I'm switching the topics that I draw. That's why I explore. I go out there. I try everything. I try every pencil, every brush, every marker, every painting tool, every 3D tool, everything I did, to find answers, to do what interests me, to expand the mind and just trust in that process. Trust that it brings me closer to myself, trust that it answers the questions that I have, and trust that it will bring me to my most authentic self eventually. And once I get there, I will have all the skills, hopefully, to express myself truthfully, just, you know, and get something across through art and use it as a language, communicate. And that is my process. That is how I meander, how I lose myself, how I find myself again, then I lose myself again. I was doing a lot of finding last year, and this year I'm back to searching, I feel like. Yeah. And once I've searched enough, I'm gonna be doing some finding again, you know? Finding new things that interest me, finding new answers to the questions I'm asking, and it's all in, like, it all goes into the same direction. Like, nothing is lost, like I said. If I spend half a year doing Houdini 3D work, like you see in my earlier YouTube videos, nothing was lost there. I was just enjoying myself immensely. But through that process, sort of finding my way back into 2D art and into drawing and now painting as well. And yeah, also to myself more. I feel like I'm so much more myself than last year, and I can be more authentic, and I can be open, and I can be good to myself, and it's just really, really interesting. This is the process. I trust the process, and yeah, I don't trust I'm gonna be here in a year doing the same thing. It's probably not gonna happen. And if it happens, I'm going to question myself, and I'm going to ask questions about, am I really still exploring enough? Am I going out there enough? Is this still legit? Am I still feeling this? Is this still me? Is this authentic? Is this what I want to be doing? Yeah, because that's always there for me. That's usually always there for me, and that's very, very important. And then and probably things are going to happen. Life is going to happen, and there's going to be things that throw you off your way. You think you have it all figured out, and then something happens, gets in the way, and you're completely lost again, and you're finding yourself in a position where you have to rediscover who you are and what art means to you, how you want to keep creating, do you want to even keep creating, what does it give you back to create? And yeah, I'm just super into all of those questions right now, and usually always. I just, sometimes they go and take a place back in my head, and I can just create, and it's fine. And I have the feeling of, okay, I know what I'm doing. I have something figured out. Like I said, I have like a song in my head that keeps replaying. Not literally, but it feels like that. It feels like I have a song that has a meaning, and the meaning is like, okay, this is what we're doing here. This is me. This is cool. And then I lose the melody of that, and I need to find a new song. Yeah. And right now, I think, yeah, I've done a little bit of searching. I might be on the edge of finding something cool again. And yeah, I can't wait to share that with you. Thank you for all this time you've listened to me ramble on about weird questions and philosophical bullshit. Maybe you've gotten something out of this. I would love to hear it in the comments, or write me a message, send me your art, do whatever you want, of course. And yeah, maybe you can ask yourself some of those questions, or maybe you already are, and that is great. I hope you can, through art, you can express yourself and get to know yourself and life better, because that is a great gift that art offers. It's, yeah, I'm just completely enamored by that thing, you know, by that property, or that opportunity that art gives you, and me and all of us. And so, yeah, keep creating. I sure will, and I'll keep you updated and posted. I hope you like the drawing, painting thing that happened in this video. Look forward to more, and see you in the next video.